When you send your CV in for a job, it's completely blind, nobody knows you. The only reason somebody picked you out of a big bundle was because they liked the way you conveyed your idea. So just keep that in mind and just think about that as we go through this. So, I think Dan did an introduction of me. I might come back to that later. Why a business plan? So, a business plan is many things. Now, a lot of us that come from a scientific background, we tend to be very detail-oriented, so we're trying to think of things, and I'm sure all of your ideas, maybe the topic of your PhD, you've put a lot of time and effort into this technical or scientific idea. And so you have this sort of desire as a technical person, as a detailed person, to kind of really push all of that detail in there. But you've got to really kind of resist that temptation. It's okay to have that detail mapped out in your mind so that you know where you're going. But it's all going to be about lifting out the key messages and making it very crisp. Because that business plan is effectively your introduction to get an opportunity to pitch your idea. And we're going to be helping you a lot tomorrow to show you how best to pitch your idea. So I'm an investor these days with J&J's Corporate Venture Fund. And following on from this conversation, like Big Pharma, why does Big Pharma, how do you get into Big Pharma, how do you engage, how do you find the right people, how do you get them to invest? Let me let you into a little secret that I've thought about in terms of the 3 reasons why an investor is going to invest in your business idea. Is it because it's brilliant science? Is it because it's going to change the world? You know what? I actually don't think it's those things. It's 3 things. First of all, somebody will invest in your company because they like you, because they trust you, and because they think that you are capable of executing on this idea that you have. Those are the 3 reasons that you will get money into your business. And you're starting from a place where nobody knows you. So your business case, your business plan has to all be about getting yourself in front of those people, because that then becomes your opportunity to convince them that you're likable, that you're trustworthy, and that you have a vision for how to execute on this idea. So when you're looking at your idea, you're thinking in terms of 3 big things, I would say, in your business plan that it's really got to convey. You've got to convey that it's compelling, that there is something about it that is going to, you heard the sort of the businessy terms, you understand the addressable market, that you know what the unmet need is, what the commercial need is. Now, what that will trigger, you see on the slide, I'm saying it'll trigger a thought from the investors that this is an important area for us to consider as an investment. Actually, what I'm telling you is that these people, they're human beings just like you, and their decisions are emotionally based. When they hear how you convey the unmet need and the commercial need for your business idea, they're going to be thinking, I like these people. I trust these people. I think they know what they're talking about. Okay? So think about that when you're developing your messages. You need to demonstrate in your business plan that you know how the product is or can be differentiated from the competition. So you need to understand the market that you're going into, and you need to have a view on how you can execute a plan to create that differentiation. It may be that right now is not obvious differentiation, but you've got to be able to see a path to that differentiation of what you need to do experimentally or from a technology or a business sense to demonstrate that differentiation. And then you need to be able to show that you know how to get there, what the steps are going to be, and that you've got a view on how to break down that path into these small steps. And that's really your operational plan, timeline, cost, milestones, resources. You don't need that to be to the nth degree. You don't need to show cash flow forecasts. You really don't. You need to be able to show that you understand the big pieces of that. The investors will know that, just like forecasters know that the one thing that's not going to work out is your sales forecast. It never does, okay? But if they get a sense that you know what you're about, that you understand what your product is trying to convey, that you understand the market that you're trying to play in, and that you've figured out and thought about how to get there, they will like you, they will trust you, and they'll want to give you their money because they will believe that you can deliver on the plan that you're defining. They also know, because they've done this before, that in all likelihood, as you follow that path together, you will make changes. Things will happen, and there will be changes, and you'll work that out together. But they won't even start the process until they believe that you can convey those abilities. So what is this concept of an unmet need? It's got to be something that's real, that's based in reality. Like you heard as well in this panel, I think, if you have these kind of completely unrealistic objectives for what this can achieve in a marketplace, it just won't come across as believable. So it should be, based in reality. It shouldn't be a blue sky idea. You should, keep away from that business idea if it's just ridiculously high risk. It shouldn't be, sort of a money pit, and it shouldn't be too niche, frankly, because it won't be sufficiently differentiated to attract their attention. So you need to try and find how to apply this idea you have. There are lots of ideas out there, right? So this is all about applying the technology, applying the science, applying the idea to an investment opportunity. So how will you differentiate, and how do you need to think about differentiation? Try to convey how the end product will make a difference to a patient, because that's mostly what we're talking about here, or to a customer if it's a consumer product in the healthcare space. Remember, I think Elena said it in the panel, that you may recognize, and the investors may recognize, you've got a very long path to go to actually get to market, to commercialize your product. So be realistic about that and understand that during that time, many things are going to happen in the environment in which you're operating. The competition with the unmet need, other things will come into play. So be realistic about that and try and anticipate how much better it can be, or it needs to be competitive by the time it comes to market, and figure out how you will be able to get there. And understand and anticipate how others may be able to copy you, and how you will protect yourself from being copied while you and your fellow investors are funding this idea. So it's very easy to say, and you'll know this from what you've already done to get here today, it's very easy to say it must be crisp, it must be short. But behind that, we know and we understand that there's going to be a lot of detail and a lot of work. Make sure that that is the case, that you really have done all that background work, that you've really thought about it, that you've brainstormed it, that you've checked in with other people that know more about this perhaps than you do, that have experience in the markets that you want to go after. So a lot of work we recognise is going to have to go into this small piece at the top that's going to be your business plan. So some things that you need to think about that are often overlooked. There is a kind of a standard structure. You need to be able to be very crisp and get your ideas across in a way that the people looking at your business plan, be they big pharma, be they investors, are familiar with seeing this. So the typical structure looks like this, and I think actually most people have articulated their business plan already in this sort of framework. An executive summary at the outset that really tries in a couple of sentences or a short paragraph what it is you have and what you want to deliver with it and how you think you can do it, why you're the right person to do it. An outline of the unmet need, an overview of the product and the platform, what is novel about it, what is different about it, a clear section on the market and a knowledge of the competition and understanding not just what's there now, but what you anticipate is going to come from your research and from your scanning the environment, what's going to come in the future. And then the operating plan piece, once again, not huge detail, nobody's expecting you to have risk-adjusted sales forecasts, nobody's expecting you to have cash flow forecasts, but in general terms, what are the de-risking milestones in the months and years ahead, and how you're going to de-risk, what sort of capital requirements you think you're going to need to de-risk each of those steps to get there. And finally, the IP, have you protected your idea already? How robust is that protection? What ongoing things do you need to do scientifically and legally in order to secure that protection going forward? So when you're thinking about the competition, do be comprehensive. Remember to think in the broadest possible way about your market. Several people said earlier that the healthcare environment is transforming very quickly, and all of your ideas and the range of ideas that have been presented to become semi-finalists today points to that in terms of how disruptive new technologies can be on old markets, established markets. So whatever space you're in, whatever disease you're in, if it's a therapeutic, if it's a medicine that you're thinking about, think about the competition broadly in the context of what novel surgical approaches are happening at the moment, what wearables, what consumer type products, how is the market actually being disrupted, and how, first of all, are you going to make your idea part of that disruption, and how are you going to protect your idea from those disruptive forces as you invest. This is probably getting to the level of granularity, and I would say, even as it's outlined here, I would argue for your business plan that might be as far as it needs to go, and there may be some business plans you wouldn't even need to do this much detail. But think in terms of what are the steps, the standard steps that you're going to have to go through to discharge certain risks, to get to certain milestones. What are the activities and what do you think are the costs associated with those activities? Now, it's clear that there are many parts of this that you would not be expected to know right now. But between now and when you're coming back to be finalists in this competition, and with the help of your mentors, use your mentors to help you with this stuff, okay? And get them to direct you and find out from your own networks who you should be talking to, who can fill in some of these blanks for you, so that so that your assumptions are realistic about this stuff. There's no such thing as a business idea and a business execution that is devoid of risks. And the rewards are very great in this business, in the most general sense, in life sciences, in healthcare. But the risks are pretty enormous. And it may be that you will start with an idea, you'll identify, as I would encourage you to do in your business plan, you would think comprehensively about all of the risks that you're going to have to overcome. But then as you get to those hurdles, you realize that actually this is just not going to work. You can't overcome this particular issue. Even as you're planning now, you should be thinking about how can I protect my investment, my intellectual property, my idea, so that I am able to survive those particular hurdles and pivot my business perhaps in another direction. I'm not actually saying that you necessarily need to capture that in your plan, in your business plan, but do be thinking about that, because that will demonstrate that you have sort of the broadest view of your business. So think about the technical risks, about the operational ones. Will you be able to hire the right people? Will you be able to find the right collaborators, the right contract research organisations to execute your plan for you? What sort of regulatory hurdles do you face right now? Do you know what they are? Do you know what they're going to be in the future? Do you know how the FDA views the particular sector that you're trying to get into? Are there changes to regulations? Are there new barriers to entry for products in the market that you're going after? What are the market risks? Like I said earlier, is the market being completely disrupted right now? Are you going after a device that's going to be replaced with a therapeutic completely? And, standard general surgery, for instance, has been largely replaced with keyhole surgery and with medtech and devices. And in turn, there are certain device sectors that have completely commoditized and have been replaced by therapeutic modalities. So understand those market risks and figure out how your idea and your business is going to cope with those in the months and years ahead. So I'm going to take some questions now in a few minutes, because we're going to have plenty of time here. But my sort of parting thoughts are to really think about this process that you're entering into now, between now and the finals, and really leverage the networks that the opportunity you have to be here together with other entrepreneurs, with other people with different business ideas, bounce ideas off each other, try to work together, figure out how within your teams you're going to work together, who's responsible for what. Make sure you understand what value the mentor that's been assigned to you brings, and leverage that, and use your own networks as well. Really look at the business plan that you put together to get here today, and then figure out what aspects of it you need to change in order to sharpen it, to really make it a winning idea.